Deep-sea divers are balancing on a fine line between life and death each time they dive into the abyss. The horrors of the ocean can be daunting, but the potential to discover things we've never seen before can make the risks worth it. From a giant squid to a bottle nearly as old as Canada, deep-sea divers have uncovered some of the strangest and most fascinating objects hidden in the depths of the ocean. The deep sea is a mysterious and unforgiving environment, filled with unknown creatures and dangerous conditions. Yet, the lure of uncovering new and extraordinary finds compels these divers to venture into the drowning darkness, facing the predators and crashing waves that lurk below the surface. The rewards of these deep-sea discoveries make the perilous dive worthwhile, expanding our understanding of the vast and enigmatic ocean that covers much of our planet. Here are 20 strangest things divers found while diving in the deep ocean. 20. Giant squid in Japan. In 2023, diver Yosuke Tanaka and his wife had a once-in-a-lifetime experience while diving in Toyooka City and Hyogo Prefecture in Japan. They were alerted by local fishing equipment vendors about sightings of a massive creature lurking in the waters and decided to take a dive. To their surprise, they encountered an elusive giant squid, an 8-ton behemoth that seldom comes close to humans. Giant squids can grow up to 43 feet long and usually dwell in the deep sea at depths of around 1,000 to 2,000 feet, where the sun barely penetrates, making them an elusive sight. The Tanas were incredibly fortunate to encounter one of these majestic animals alive and swimming in shallower waters. Unfortunately, it's likely that the squid was nearing the end of its life when it surfaced, already in poor health. Even so, the memory of this squid encounter served as an unforgettable experience for the researchers and the couple. 19. The world's heaviest bony fish. Among the creatures living in the ocean is the astounding Mola alexandrini, also known as the bumphead sunfish. Not only is this creature known for its bizarre appearance, but it's also known as the world's heaviest bony fish, with a weight that can reach a staggering 5,070 pounds. This species is a relative of the mola, a different sunfish species. Unlike its more renowned kin, this sunfish species can grow up to 10 feet long and has a prominent head bump and a unique, almost circular body shape. These creatures inhabit the warmer waters of the world's oceans and are frequently seen basking near the surface to soak up the sun's rays. Typically, they are known for being gentle giants that pose no harm to humans and are a delight for even beginner divers to swim with. 18. Squid egg sac. What's more fascinating than a giant squid? A massive squid egg sac. This floating object, as big as an adult human, belongs to the 10-armed southern short-fin squid. These egg sacs are incredibly rare and delicate, making close encounters and detailed studies difficult. Each sac can easily contain between 50,000 and 200,000 baby squid, all packed into a gelatinous sphere that can grow to over 3 feet in diameter. The sac itself is made from a mix of squid ink and mucus, creating a protective environment for the developing embryos. Despite their rarity, sightings of these large, spherical egg sacs have been reported in various locations, including the Mediterranean and along the coasts of Spain, France, and Italy. 17. 900 bottles of 100-year-old booze. In 1917, during the height of World War I, the Swedish cargo ship SS Kiros was transporting a precious load of French cognac and Benedictine liquor intended for the Russian aristocracy. The ship was intercepted and sunk by a German U-boat in the Baltic Sea, with the cargo remaining untouched at a depth of 253 feet for over a century. In 2019, the Ocean X team led by Peter Lindbergh and Dennis Asperg made it their mission to recover this historic cache. Despite the depth, they salvaged 900 bottles of century-old booze, preserved by the icy ocean water. The haul included 50 cases of KC-branded Dartman and Company cognac and 15 cases of Benedictine liquor. The salvaged bottles were estimated to have a combined value of over $1 million, though the exact price they fetched at auction was never revealed. 16. Enigma machine from World War II. In 2020, divers were on a routine mission to clean up ghost nets, or abandoned fishing nets, at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. However, they stumbled upon a rusted, algae-covered contraption that looked like an ancient typewriter. To their surprise, they had discovered a rare Enigma machine, an object used by the German forces during World War II to encrypt military communications. The Enigma machine was considered an engineering marvel of its time, designed by Arthur Scourbius after World War I and quickly adopted by the German military. It featured rotor wheels that scrambled letters to create coded messages. The specific Enigma machine found by the divers had 3 rotors, suggesting it was used on a German warship rather than a U-boat, which typically carried 4-rotor models. This device was likely thrown overboard in May 1945 when the German forces scuttled their ships to prevent them from being captured by the Allies. This discovery is one of a kind, as only a handful of these devices have survived to this day. The Enigma machine was handed over to the Museum of Archaeology in Schleswig for preservation and study. 15. 900-year-old sword found underwater. In October 2021, sport diver Shomi Katsun was exploring the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea when he discovered a number of artifacts, including a bizarre sword encrusted with barnacles and other marine life. It turned out that Shomi had discovered a 4-feet-long iron sword that was made and used 900 years ago, possibly by a Crusader knight. Experts claim that the region where Shomi found the sword saw significant use during the Crusades, a series of religious wars initiated by European powers to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. The sword, with its straight blade and 30 centimeters hilt, is a classic example of the weapons used by knights during this tumultuous period. Shomi turned the sword over to local authorities, hoping that researchers could preserve it for decades, perhaps centuries, to come. 14. Glowing slinky-like mass of eggs. In 2017, a scuba diver off the coast of Australia encountered a massive, glowing, slinky-like creature. At first glance, it looked like an alien creature, but closer inspection and analysis by marine biologists revealed that it was actually a mass of squid eggs from a diamondback squid. These egg masses are incredibly rare and can reach lengths of up to 6 feet, with a single swirl containing thousands of eggs. The striking appearance of the egg mass comes from the translucent, pinkish glow of the eggs themselves, which are studded with chromatophores or pigment-containing cells. These chromatophores give the eggs their vibrant hue, making the mass look otherworldly and almost alien in appearance. The egg mass floats freely in the ocean until the eggs hatch, so if one ever encounters something like this in the water, it is now known to be a remarkable natural phenomenon. 13. Roman party. During the Roman era, the nobility were known to chase pleasure and social gatherings. One town, Baia, located on the northwest shore of the Gulf of Naples, was the ultimate resort destination for Rome's rich and famous. Known for its beautiful landscapes, luxurious villas, and infamous hedonism, Baia attracted notable figures like Julius Caesar, Nero, and Hadrian, all of whom owned luxurious homes there. The city was often compared to Las Vegas for its wild parties, extravagant feasts, and scandalous activities. Even Emperor Caligula couldn't resist making his mark, famously building a 3-mile-long pontoon bridge across the Bay of Baia just to ride his horse across it and prove a point to his critics. However, in the 3rd century AD, this seemingly untouchable city was toppled by nature itself, as seismic activity and geological phenomena caused it to slowly sink. By the 8th century, a significant portion of the city had slipped beneath the sea, and further devastation came from barbarian invasions and a malaria outbreak in the 16th century, leading to its complete abandonment. Today, Baia is a shadow of its former self, serving as an underwater park where divers can explore the remnants of its past. 12. Wood-eating worm becomes sulfur-eating monster. The giant sulfur-eating shipworm discovered in the Philippines is a bizarre sci-fi-like creature. Despite being called a shipworm, it is actually a type of clam, not a worm. This creature is a distant relative of the wood-eating shipworms that have been a maritime nuisance for centuries. However, the giant shipworm has evolved to thrive on a sulfur diet, rather than wood. Scientists discovered that the shipworm's gills have symbiotic bacteria that oxidize the hydrogen sulfide, producing carbon compounds that feed the shipworm. This symbiotic relationship allows the shipworm to grow to such immense sizes without relying on traditional food sources like wood. This discovery has shed new light on the remarkable adaptability of these creatures. 11. Mysterious 17th century cauldron. Recently, a mysterious 17th century cauldron was discovered off the coast of Florida. At first glance, it really does look like a cauldron, but recent analysis has revealed that it might be more than that. The artifact was discovered near the wreck of the Spanish treasure galleon Santa Margarita, which sank in 1622 during a hurricane in the Florida Straits, carrying a fortune in gold and silver. Considering this, the copper dome could be a part of an early diving bell that was used to try and salvage artifacts from the wreck. Diving bells were among the first devices to enable humans to explore the underwater world, trapping air inside a bell-shaped vessel that was then lowered into the water, allowing divers to work on the seabed. The artifact, now housed in the Mel Fisher Maritime Museum in Sebastian, Florida, measures 58 inches in diameter and lacks signs of charring or heating, which would be expected if it were a cooking cauldron. Instead, its construction matches descriptions of 17th century diving bells. 10. Giant jellyfish. Biologist and wildlife presenter Lizzie Daly had an unforgettable experience while diving near Falmouth as part of her Wild Ocean Week campaign. She and her cameraman, Dan Abbott, encountered a giant barrel jellyfish measuring 5 feet long. The two swam alongside the enormous jellyfish for over an hour, an experience that was surely humbling. These creatures are the largest species of jellyfish found in UK waters, typically growing up to 3 feet in diameter, but this particular specimen was exceptionally large. While these jellyfish can be intimidating, they are actually harmless to humans, and even if stung, the sting is unlikely to be felt. Nevertheless, it's best to keep a safe distance from these wild creatures out of respect for them living their lives in their own habitats. 9. Haunting undersea graveyard. TR Lagoon, located about 1,100 miles northwest of New Guinea in the Western Pacific, has a tumultuous history. Occasionally visited by Spanish explorers in 1528, the area was already home to several natives at the time. Over the years, it was claimed by various colonial powers, including Spain, Germany, and Japan. During World War II, TR Lagoon became a significant Japanese naval base, known as the Gibraltar of the Pacific. In February 1944, the U.S. launched Operation Hailstone, a massive 2-day assault on the lagoon, sinking over 40 Japanese ships and destroying more than 250 aircraft. The devastation was immense, claiming the lives of thousands of Japanese soldiers and sailors. Today, the ghost fleet of TR Lagoon lies well preserved beneath the peaceful currents, but divers who visit the area often go home with eerie stories describing sudden drops in temperature, mysterious currents, and the sensation of being watched, with some even claiming to have seen apparitions of sailors and heard disembodied voices speaking in Japanese. 8. Tailing sperm whales. Whales, unlike humans, need to come up for air consciously, as they cannot afford to be fully unconscious while sleeping. Instead, they utilize a special type of sleep known as unihemispheric slow wave sleep, which allows one hemisphere of the brain to rest while the other remains active. This bizarre position, with their heads facing up, allows them to quickly float to the surface to take a breath while remaining asleep. They typically sleep for about 20-minute intervals before needing to come up for air again, and this process can continue for several hours at a time. This is a necessary adaptation for whales, as their bodies need to consciously remind them to breathe, unlike humans who can breathe automatically even while sleeping. 7. Diver returns iPhone he found underwater. When Alex Schulz, the CEO and co-founder of the Ocean Cleanup Company, spotted an iPhone while diving in the Boca Raton Inlet in South Florida, he didn't expect it to work again. However, upon closer inspection, he realized the phone was encased in a waterproof bag and was in pristine condition despite its time on the ocean floor. Accustomed to finding all sorts of items underwater, Alex was amazed to see the phone still powering on. He then used the emergency contact listed on the lock screen to track down the owner. The owner's mother was overjoyed and astonished that the phone had been found and was still working, as her son had lost it a few days earlier during a fishing trip with his dad. By returning the phone, Alex not only did a good deed for the owner, but also saved hundreds or even thousands of marine creatures by cleaning their habitat one piece of trash at a time. 6. Underwater anomaly that cuts electricity from diver equipment. In 2011, Swedish divers from the Ocean X team stumbled upon a 70-foot-long, disc-shaped object resting nearly 300 feet below the surface. While this could have been a strange but completely natural formation, divers began reporting that upon drawing closer to the object, their electrical equipment, from cameras to satellite phones, all stopped working. Strangely, these devices resumed functioning only once the divers moved away from the object. The object's peculiar shape and the strange phenomena surrounding it led to various theories, from it being part of an alien UFO fleet to an ancient relic from the Ice Age. Scientists have examined samples from the site, suggesting it might be a natural geological formation or volcanic rock, but its exact origin remains a mystery to this day. 5. Bronze arm. In addition to the renowned Antikythera mechanism discovered in the Antikythera shipwreck off the coast of Greece, other artifacts have been found in the wreck, including a bronze arm belonging to an ancient statue. Researchers believe these fragments could be part of up to 9 statues around the wreck, dating back 2,000 years. However, the said statues remain unfound to this day. 4. 2,000-year-old preserved pill. Around 120 BCE, the Rito del Pino, a Roman shipping vessel, sank off the coast of Tuscany. More than 2 millennia later, a team of archaeologists sent divers to excavate the ruins and discovered astounding historical artifacts, including a small tin container. Inside the tin were perfectly preserved Roman pills. Analysis by a team of Italian chemists revealed a sophisticated blend of ingredients, primarily containing zinc compounds, iron oxide, starch, beeswax, pine resin, and other plant materials. Researchers believe these pills were used as eye medicine or eye wash, providing a connection to the medical practices described by ancient authors like Pliny the Elder and Dioscorides. These tablets allow scientists to study the exact composition of Roman medicine, giving us another valuable glimpse of Roman history. 3. A confused aurora remoras. Also known as suckerfish, remoras have a unique relationship with larger marine animals like sharks, rays, and even whales. These fish use a suction disc on the top of their heads to attach themselves to their host, hitching a ride and feeding on the leftovers of their host's meals. This relationship is known as mutualism, as the remoras can travel to different parts of the ocean effortlessly and eat scraps of prey dropped by the shark, while the shark receives a free cleanup from the remoras that feed off parasites on its skin and mouth. However, in 2017, a scuba diver in Bora Bora, known for its rich marine life and vibrant coral reefs, encountered a remora that seemed quite confused. Acting on instinct, the remora mistook the diver for a shark or another large sea creature due to his size and movement in the water. While the encounter may have been surprising, remoras are harmless to humans, and their suction can be quite surprising if they attempt to attach themselves to a diver. 2. Oldest submerged city known in the world. In 1967, marine archaeologist Nicholas Fleming discovered Pavlopetri, an underwater city lying beneath the surface of the Mediterranean Sea. This Bronze Age urban center, built between 3000 and 1000 BCE, is remarkably well preserved, with its layout still clearly visible, including streets, buildings, courtyards, and tombs. Archaeologists have identified at least 15 buildings, many with multiple rooms, as well as a complex water management system featuring channels and pipes. The city's preservation is largely due to its emergence, caused by a combination of earthquakes and rising sea levels, which has kept the site relatively intact despite being discovered decades ago. There is still much to learn about Pavlopetri, the oldest submerged underwater city in the world. 1. Bottle nearly as old as Canada. While scuba diving in the ocean waters of Nova Scotia's Northwest Arm in 2015, John Krause discovered an unexpected find, a bottle dating back to the 1870s and 1880s, making it nearly as old as Canada itself. The bottle, identified by its distinct markings, traces back to Alexander Keith's, one of Canada's oldest and most storied breweries, founded in 1820 by Alexander Keith, a Scottish immigrant. When the bottle was recovered, it was nearly complete and still corked. Researchers at Dalhousie University analyzed the contents and found that despite its age, the beer inside was still somewhat drinkable, although no one dared to actually drink the ancient liquid. In the end, John decided to keep the bottle and hopefully preserve the cork and the liquid inside for years to come. These underwater discoveries have certainly been fascinating. If you have any other intriguing deep-sea finds to share, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And be sure to check out the other cool content that's being displayed on the screen right now. With that, I'll wrap things up here. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care, everybody.